Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis, and breaking scoreboards. Simone of the Olympics, defense and big business. The Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the three in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports. Man, what's really good? You feel me? DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports. Man, what's really good? You feel me?
Yeah, I hear you too. I hear you.
Let
I hear you
everybody
clear.
build up in here, but we definitely about to talk about these Cleveland sports today. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody can hear me good. You know what I'm talking about? Uh, the NBA Finals. Yeah, NBA Finals starts tonight. All right, we got the Boston Celtics versus the Golden State Warriors. All right, and I guess this series might just be a doozy. You hear me? Cause I ain't saying this a grudge match, but don't it kind of feel like it? I mean, Steph Curry been dogging everybody. All right, I don't know if it's a team in the league that he ain't put up 40 on, 8 plus threes on, and Steph up there. And the team he leads, they've been rocking together for especially that core, that core three, Steph, Draymond, and Clay. They've been rocking for a minute. They in their 6 NBA finals in 8 years. Last time we seen that, Michael Jordan was playing. All right, so that's definitely a high accomplishment. Gotta get a shots out and the props to them guys. But these Boston Celtics boys is hungry. All right, they hungry. We talking about guys that's been to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times in the last 5 years or so, and they're just now finally getting to the finals. So it feels like a grudge match. You know what I'm saying? Why does it feel like a grudge match? Because Steph, like I say, man, he didn't put pause on everybody except Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is the one player in this league who seems to have his number for some reason. All right. And we got to see if Marcus Smart can do this in a 7-game series. Can he D Steph up? Can he lock him down? Can he, like what's gonna happen? Clay kind of just now getting back in his form. You know what I'm saying? So it's you know these finals I think should be real interesting. But to be honest, you know how it is in the playoffs, man. Any given night could be your team's night. Any given night, you could be the one, your team could be the one to come out flat and just not clicking off top, and the other team can come out smoking. Now, it's a whole 48 minutes. Every possession matters. So I think it should be a really good game, But to me, the X factor in this series is Jordan Poole. And it's Jordan Poole versus who can come off Boston's bench and put up points. Now, could that be a Derek White? newly acquired halfway through the season. Could it be him? Could we see a Peyton Pritchard sighting? Could he, get time in this series and really have an impact? Daniel Tice, will he even play? Will he have an impact? I mean, this is gonna be real interesting. Can Draymond Green score points? You know what I'm saying? Will he be a legitimate scorer? Like that's something that's really gonna be interesting to see because I mean Wiggins could put up some points. You know what I'm saying? We know this. We know Clay and Steph can put up some points. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, can Draymond really be a consistent threat for a whole 7 games on the offensive end? Not just as a passer, not just as an orchestrator, but as an actual point getter. I think that's going to be real important for this series. Uh, but I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I fully expect Steph Curry to show out. I ain't gonna even hold you. I think he gonna be on some whole trash the whole series, especially knowing the type of history he got with Marcus Smart. You know what I'm saying? I really think like he gonna come out on one of them ones, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if Steph first couple shots is 35, 40 footers. You know what I'm saying? That he smack just to let it be known, like, bro, we ain't playing. But see, I don't know if they really got an answer for a hot Tatum. You know, uh, Jason Tatum has showed like when he get on his wop, man, can't nobody really guard him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he took it to KD. He took it. Giannis was dogging him, and he still found a way to give it to Giannis and them. So it's been really interesting to see. Um, Now if I'm gonna just do, cause I really ain't gonna spend a lot on the finals. I did want to highlight it starting off. I would not be surprised if the Warriors won this game and they won it big. And I also wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics took a game one. Um, Coming off a 7 game series, knowing that they still kind of fresh and they adrenaline pumping. This is going to be an interesting game to see. But to me, I think this game is going to tell me a lot about what the coaches are wrong. You know, Steve Kerr is a very good offensive minded coach, and he has Mike Brown on that bench with him, who's a very good defensive minded coach, and they've been able to make it work for the last 7 seasons, 6, 7 seasons that they've been that Mike Brown's been on that staff. Uh, uh, Ume Udoka, has become a superstar as the coach. Boston started off on a bad foot, and now they're beating everybody. But I think this definitely gonna tell me a lot about what's going on. It's gonna tell me a lot about what's going on in these coaches' minds and who they feel like is the real threats to them in this series. So, we gonna see, man. But if I'm making my prediction right now, um, I'm gonna go against the grain, bro. Well, I guess it's not going against the grain because from what I've seen, a lot of people are picking Boston, which I did not expect. Um,
Yeah,
but
they got Boston by like
I
5 or
said I
something
was
right
going
now.
against the grain, but now I think about it, I'm actually going with everybody. I'm gonna take the Celtics in 7 games. I'm gonna take the Celtics in 7 games. You know, Boston and the Warriors getting at least three home games apiece in this series is good money for each team. It's good money for the NBA, especially with the NBA trying to keep up with the NFL. And even though the NFL in the offseason, boy, they is dominating headlines. All right, they are dominating. So, um, but I'm gonna go with the Celtics in 7. I think it's gonna be a back and forth. I think this is gonna be one of them. You win one, I win one. You win one, I win one series. To be honest, and like I say, I just wouldn't be shocked if Boston took this first game. Um, with that being said, though, about the NBA, I lightweight want to talk a little bit more about the draft. Now the draft is what 21 days away now. June 23rd, if I'm mistaken. The final should probably end sometime next weekend. I would assume like next Sunday, maybe. Yeah, not this upcoming Sunday, but the following Sunday, or even that following Tuesday. I don't think it'll go past then. Um, but it's interesting to see what these teams gonna do with these high draft picks. Um, I'm looking at Orlando a lot because I feel like Orlando gonna make some trades to go with their number one overall pick. Now me, you know, initially I said Paulo Banchero. I think he could play the four over there and really solidify them at the four. Allow Franz Wagner to play the three and really have a threat. Um, Wendell Carter Jr. playing at center. Maybe they bring Mo Bamba back. I mean, who knows? I put out a suggestion saying that, I think Orlando should try to trade for Rudy Gay. I think, hey, if you package up Markel Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, and Terrence Ross and ship him for Rudy Gay, and then with the first pick, I take Chet Holmgren and just had 2 7-footers down there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that if Orlando make a trade like that, that would be wrong. I don't think it's highly unlikely or impossible that Chet Holmgren could go one to Orlando. I just personally don't think he fit there. I just don't think he a natural fit there. I like Chet personally. I think Chet fit with OKC, which is where I got him at number 2. I think he fits their team. Um, he could play the stretch 5 or the stretch 4. But they got Baisley down there. But Baisley probably a good backup. But Chet, Giddey, Shea Gilders-Alexander, that'll be crazy. Trey Mann is blossom. You still got Lou Dort down there. I like Shea Gilders as a 2. I like Josh Giddey as a 3. I like Lou Dort, but I like Lou Dort off the bench as a rotational wing. Um, I don't think they still got Derek Favors over there. But like I said, I think Chet fit with them. And Jabari Smith to Houston, I think it fits better. Jabari, a big man, could play D, could stretch the floor. I think him and Christian Wood will really, really, really help each other out. Um, and with KPJ down there and what's that guy named Jalen Green, they could make some noise. You know what I'm saying? At 4, I got Keegan Murray, bro. I think Keegan Murray to Sacramento would be so fire. You know what I'm saying? With De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, I think that would be crazy. I got Jaden Ivey going 5 um, to to Detroit. I think Detroit could use a Jaden Ivey and pair him in a backcourt with Cade Cunningham. You can move Sadiq Bey to the 3. I like Marvin Bagley if they go ahead and move on from Jeremy Grant. Uh, and to me, I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana, if they so Indiana picks after Detroit, and people got Keegan Murray going there, or they got Shaden Sharp going there. But I don't think Indiana would draft Shaden Sharp. I lightweight think Indiana would try to trade for Jeremy Grant. I said last I said during the season, I thought Jeremy Grant really fit Indiana style of play. You put him over there with Tyrese and is Malcolm Brogdon staying? That's a whole nother story too. It looks like they're gonna keep Miles Turner. So, you put Jeremy Grant down there in the paint with Miles Turner, and then you running Halliburton, Dorte, and it's not Yield. Is it Buddy? But Buddy a free agent. I think Buddy a free agent and Malcolm Brogdon on last year of his deal. Now they could run Brogdon at the 2, Malcolm Brogdon at the 2, and Tyrese at the 1 with Dorte at the 3. But I just think Indiana would trade this pick if Keegan Murray is off the board. That's just my consensus. But also, you got to keep in mind too that they could be trading Malcolm Brogdon. You know, um, it's not impossible that they could trade him to New York for the 11th. You know, because New York needs a point guard, and they'll probably look at Dyson Daniels. But the more that I peep things, I think Dyson Daniels could end up going to New Orleans at 8. Now you still got Portland at 7, and I think Portland would take Shaden Sharp. Um, if Indiana traded that 6 pick to Detroit, I don't think Detroit would take a Shaden Sharp. I think they would take Mark Williams. Mark Williams is a guy that I think is really rising up the draft boards. 7'2" with a 9'9" standing reach. A 7'7" wingspan. Or I think it's like 8'7" or 8'8" wings. Some shit. Boy, that boy big. He play on the boards. He a big body. He not really lighting up behind. You know what I'm saying? And he got a jumper. You know what I'm saying? He could stretch the floor. So I just think, if Detroit was to manage that, they would probably take Mark Williams there. Um, Portland, Portland needs so much stuff. But if Shaden Sharp fell right there, they would take him. You pair Shaden Sharp with Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? You starting with something. You at least, worst case scenario, got at least something you can start to build around. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you feel like, all right, look, Dame ain't gonna stay. We're gonna trade Dame. You will still have Anthony Simons, and Shaden Sharp to start with. So it'll still work out for him, in my opinion. I said New Orleans 8. I think Dyson Daniel goes to New Orleans. I think he fits there as a guy who could play the 2 because of his size, but can really facilitate and allow, you know, CJ McCullough to really score and still run the offense to a degree. Zion coming back is going to be real big for that team. Um, so I got Dyson Daniels going 8. Uh, at 9 is the Spurs. They've been seen to go after Jalen Duran. Jalen Duran, the big man from Memphis. I think he fits their team because he don't necessarily need to be a scorer. But if he can rebound, play above the rim, play in transition, help protect the paint, switch off on, be able to switch off on the perimeter and do a solid job, I think he makes the Spurs better, especially at that 4 position because I feel like they've been lacking. Um, then you got 5, you got 10 with Washington. Um, Washington is another team I think can make a few more trades. They got Porzingis. You got Hachimura. You got Avija. You got what's my guy from LA, from the Lakers. I cannot think of his name for nothing. Um, but he came on last year. I didn't think of this dang boy name. I don't know about KCP though. Caldwell Pope, man. Caldwell Pope don't play to his potential for real. So it really be making me mad about Caldwell Pope. You know what I'm saying? Because I really feel like he give me them J.R. Smith vibes. Like, dude, you can really ball, but you only feel like balling when you feel like balling. But I think since he been in Washington though, he actually been putting up really good, been playing more consistent. Maybe because he was kind of the only thing over there, so he had to. Kyle Kuzma. That's this. I couldn't think of Kyle Kuzma name for nothing. But Kyle Kuzma been playing really good. Um, but so at that 10th pick, bro, they really need a point guard. Could they reach for a Ty Washington? Would they take a Johnny Davis? Uh, would they different? I ain't said AJ Griffin name. Would they take him there? And the reason I ain't said AJ Griffin name is because AJ Griffin could fall. Uh, you know, it depends on how he show up after this injury. He definitely a shooter. He could really play all around ball. I don't know if he a superstar potential type, but I think he could definitely come in and contribute immediately, for sure. So it's definitely a toss up with what Washington gonna do at 10. But I know for a fact, and I ain't gonna say I know for a fact, but I believe 99.9% that New York at 11 is going for a point guard. Whether that be a point guard in his draft, whether they use that pick and package up maybe one of their players they got to trade for a point guard, they're going point guard. No mystery about it. Now, Oklahoma City at 12, and this Oklahoma City pick to me really depends on what happens at 6 with Indiana. Because, like I said, if Indiana is to trade that 6th pick, and let's just say they traded to Detroit, because that's my example, they traded to Detroit and get Jeremy Grant, I don't think Detroit would take Shaden Sharp there. I don't think they would take a wing. I honestly believe they would take Mark Williams, because if you put Mark Williams down there at the 5, you put Marvin Bagley at the 4. You got Sadiq Bey at the 3. And you come with Cade Cunningham at the 2, and then Jaden Ivey that they took at 5 at the 1. Bro, that's a sweet ass young squad. You know what I'm saying? And they versatile, they athletic. You know what I'm saying? They big. That's gonna be a problem for a lot of teams for years to come. But if they don't do that, and Indiana does stick at that pick, and they do draft, which could be they could draft AJ Griffin. Who knows? I think Mark Williams will go here at 12. Now, I'll say Mark Williams go at 12 because I feel like if OKC does get a chance and draft Chet at 2, Chet light in the behind. On top of that, OKC really don't have no big man rotation. Like, they guard and wing game is like way nice on the young side, but they big man game is trash. So if you add Chet there, I think they will come back and add Williams right there at 12. Now, it's a good possibility that Charlotte really want Williams and they might try to trade for him. Um, now, so and I like I say, I like Mark Williams. I think he's gonna be a hot commodity because of his size and his gameplay. It's at least 3 to 4 teams in this lottery that could use him. You know what I'm saying? That could really, really use a Mark Williams. But so Charlotte, OKC, and Detroit is my 3 teams in the lottery. I feel like could really use a Mark Williams. I feel like if he doesn't go to OKC at 12, and let's just say OKC say something like, you know what, we might want to draft a Tari Eason. Are you gonna do Tari Eason at 12? I mean, I don't think it's a reach. I like Tari. I'm gonna get to that when I get to the Cavs. But I like Tari, but I think it's possible he can go early. Um, So that 12 and 13, I think that's slotted for Mark Williams. I don't know if it's another big man. Maybe Kessler. I think he a little reach in the lottery. But it's a lot of guys, a lot of nice prospects in this draft, in this NBA draft. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the NFL draft, where even if you don't get the guy that you was looking at that's in the top, you could probably get a similar type of style guy in the later first round, or even maybe in the second round, maybe the poor man version of the guy that you was looking for in the first. I think it's very, very possible. But I did all that to lead to the Cavs, all right? Just to give some type of landscape of what the draft could look like by the time the Cavs pick at 14. And it's been a lot of, I mean, we talk about these Cavs this offseason, you know, it's been a lot of speculation about everything. A lot of people don't want us to keep Colin. They don't think Colin and Garland can play together. Or they think Colin should come off the bench and take less money. You know, and before I even get to their pick, just speaking on Colin, bro, I don't see how you want to pay. So the Cavs paid Jared Allen. And what is Jared Allen's skill set? Let's just break it down. He is a rim protector who can run the floor, play above the rim, and rebound. He got post moves. He even got a little jumper. But I never looked at Jared Allen and said, he's a number one option on my team, especially as a scorer. I never said that. I don't even think nobody looks at Jared Allen that way. So he plays a role because when you get to winning basketball, everybody has to have a specific role. Even if they do other stuff, you have to have a specific role. So his specific role at defending the rim, rebounding, running the break, you know what I'm saying, playing above the rim, that's cool. If he can get me 20 and 15 like that, 15 and 15, which what I think is really 15, that's perfect. All right. Darius Garland been here 3 years. Out of his 3 years, he's had one good year, which was this past year. You want to pay Darius Garland? People, oh, we can pay him the max. Oh, he doing this. Well, you know, I like Garland too. I would give Garland $100 million. I just wouldn't give him the max. All right, and why? For one, Garland has to show me in the second year that he can get better and still produce and impact the game at that high of a level that he did. Um, Also, Garland got to show me that he can be one-on-one coverage without a pick, because all year he needed the pick to get free. Now, if he catch you already in motion, you know, he can get past you. I think he can get past anybody, but he only getting past you for that jumper or to pass. Actually finishing in the mid-range, you know, he could do it, but that's not where his mind stayed at. You know, that's not what he thinking. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? For sure. So,
You can
you
hear me,
know,
bro?
I like Garland as a point guard. I feel like having him at the point and having Jared Allen at the five really allows you to build the right type of team. I think their roles are defined already, and because they're young, if they get better, that's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, neither one of these guys can close the game for me. Neither one of these guys can take over a game when the momentum is swinging hard, and I need a guy to come out here and really do the job and really take the wind out of the sail of the other team. Garland nor Allen is doing that. They're doing that as a unit, but not individually. So in that aspect, I see them as third options. You know, if you got your number one option, you got your number two option, and then if the play break down, you can go, okay, I can go Garland and Allen on the screen and roll. Man, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be hard to stop. But that as a number one option on your offense for the Cavs will limit them. So, you know, in saying that, I like the Luke Walton signing. They came out, or Kobe Altman and JB came out a month ago and said they were going to add or change some things about the coaching staff around him. Bringing in a coach who's coached on a winning organization, who's been a head coach in this league, who's won a championship as a player, you know, and is, you know, a former pick of the Cavs. I think that works out well. Now, you know, I still think they need a big man coach. But nonetheless, I like that, and I like that for the future of the offense with the Cavs. So, hold on. So, with that said, let's get to Colin Sexton. Nobody on this team has showed me they deserve more money than Colin Sexton. There is not a player on this roster who has shown to me that the Cavaliers should pay them more than they pay him. And why? Colin was drafted right after the rebuild, right during the rebuild. Okay. And he was the first pick of the rebuild. And I don't know if people remember this, but even in Bron's last season, and we went to the ship, people considered the Cavs soft. They felt like they could bully the Cavs, or they could do whatever they want to their players and wouldn't nothing happen. I mean, if you're a Cavs fan, you remember this very vividly. When Colin Sexton got here, a lot of that went out the window. Okay? Colin has been on this team 4 years. He's played virtually 3 majority seasons out of the 4 years. In every season he's played, he's gotten better. Not only has he gotten better, he's gotten more efficient. And he did that with minimal talent around him. All right. So this year, we was really supposed to see him take that jump, but he got injured. And even through his injury, when you watch the Cavs play, how many times in the game did you say, damn, Colin would be shining right now if he was playing? Oh, this is Colin moment right now. Oh, we need somebody to close the game. Oh, Colin would be killing right now. Oh, we going through a scoring drought? That would never happen to Colin right now. So if you were saying that, you know what I'm saying, during the season, bro, this even more adds to my point that how could you ever consider paying anybody more than Colin when the most important person of a rebuild is the guy who can score and close the game? Now people will say, oh, well, Colin too small and he don't play defense. Well, if I remember this correctly, Colin played better defense than Garland. Matter of fact, around the league, he's considered a better defender than Garland. Now, Garland may be a little thicker or maybe a little lengthier than Colin. But when did Garland become a better defender than Colin? All right. So I just don't see how you want to pay, how people want Garland to get the max, but don't want Sexton to get the max. And we can definitely argue if Sexton played this year, we might have been in the second round. All right. Rocco, I see you've been in here for a minute, bro. Go ahead, come in and speak your piece.
Um, I agree with you about that. But I think Colin is going to strive for the simple fact because now there's a team built. He didn't have that, but even during them times when he didn't have the squad that we have now, that's why he was chosen to be number one pick to show why he's number one. Yeah, he is a very good defensive player, but there were a lot of times where his shooting was off. He made, some, you know, not good decisions on passing the ball when he should have just. There were times where he should have took control of games, but he didn't show that it factor at times. The defense is there. The defense is there. That's why it's kind of hard to be like, you know what, I would like to move on from Colin and things like that. But I think that maybe they had him playing like you made him number one, but he should not be the number one. And to Karis LeVert, my thing with Karis LeVert was last year there were moments where I feel like he should have took over a game, and I was waiting for the Karis LeVert of the Pacers, but we didn't see that. I think he was playing too conservative. I'm willing to give him another year or so to see if he switch up, and I think he will because when the season ended, Karis LeVert to me analyzed and realized that he should have done more, and he tweeted out about, "Hey, give me another shot, let me be here," and I realized I should have took over, certain situations that I didn't do. You guys going to see that next year, um, but I'm willing to give him another shot at that for another year before thinking we should move on for LeVert or we should find other options. But Colin is a good defender. Garland, I felt like there were times, even when he was hurt, he shouldn't have had a lot of playing time. He should have just got receive help, which he did down the line. down the line. Um, but yeah, I I don't know. Let's see what Colin can do. But if there's other available options, I'm mindful of that too.
So to the end of your last statement. If
Um,
there are other options, no.
yeah, yeah,
I'm just picking up from your
yeah, yeah.
last
If
statement
there's
because
other
I like a lot of.
options, like maybe a better option for Colin, I think that we should be mindful of it and see. But in the same token, we need to see what Colin can do with this roster that we have.
And I think he's earned that, Rocco. I'm glad you add that point too. I think he's earned the right, to say. Because just imagine this, y'all. And this game changer sports talk, industry sports, you know what I'm saying? I am DeeTrynt. You feel me? Follow us on all social medias. Right now, we streaming on everything. We on Twitter Spaces, but we streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. You know what I'm saying? It's on Anchor and Spotify as well. So, wherever you at listening, feel free to chime in. You know what I'm saying? Or come over to Twitter. Come on, follow DeeTrynt. Jump on in this spaces too. Um, Colin definitely has earned the right to see how he fits with this roster. Imagine you working at a job or getting hired by a company who's just getting off the ground and you're the star of the company. You're the star of the company because it ain't that many pieces there, but nonetheless, you're holding it down as a star. You have to go on medical leave for 8, 9 months, maybe 10 months, you know, but you coming back. And while you're gone, because of what you did, you made them attractive to other players and wanted them to and come in and play as hard as you did in your absence. So now when you come back from leave, now the job saying, you know what, I don't think we need you. We got some. How the fuck would you feel? You wouldn't be disrespected by that? And this is what people are suggesting the Cavs do to Colin Sexton, which makes no sense. Now, even to further my point on that perspective of things, when have the Cavs been known to groom their own talent? How many years, how many drafts have the Cavs picked up nice talent, did nothing with it, for that talent to go somewhere else, thrive, or even win a ring? All right? We're in a new day with the Cavs. They are developing their own talent. They are growing their own thing. And when it comes to other available options, there are other available options. The Cavs actually have the players, quality assets, the draft picks, and, even the veteran contracts to make a move. But why would you trade for something that you already have just to end up having to replace some shit that you have to give away to get it? Now, if Colin was 27, 28 years old, this would be a different story. But Colin
D,
is
but
22.
but do you think that that injury might be something to worry about?
No, because Colin Sexton been healthy. Colin Sexton could have returned last season. He could have played in March. He could have played in April. They told him not to. Colin was ready to come back for the playoff run. We've been seeing the videos. Colin been back. But they said, nah, bruh. Mm-mm. And I felt them too. Let these guys show what they worth is because you done already proved your worth. Let's see how JB run with these guys and how it's gonna go and really see where you fit. Like, let's see where you would have made the impact. So, I they want to keep Colin. I want them to keep Colin. I think Colin should not receive anything less than $100 million. If it's me personally, I would give Colin at least $25 million a year. So 5 years for 125. We got him until he's 27 when he actually hit his prime. And if he didn't did more then, cool. In saying that, I'm also cool with bringing Colin off the bench too, because I've said this and I've been saying this for multiple years. I think Colin and Garland could be the point guards of the future. You can come in with Garland and the first team and do what they do, and then you could have a team just built around Colin coming off that bench that he could do what he do. Now, some people don't seem to understand that Colin and Garland really complement each other's games. You know, the way they play, the way they complement each other's games. All right. And if JB chooses to start them, I'm gonna go to Karras too, Rocco. I remember you said something about Karras. I'm gonna get to there in a second. And if they're gun ho on starting Garland and Saxton, and you gotta pay Saxton at least what most starting twos is getting at least 20 to 22, 20 to 25 mil. Garland can get that too. I think Garland showed me enough in this year where I'd be willing to give him 100, 125 million. But I'm only willing to give him about the same contract as Saxton. And I'm only willing to do that because on the strength I feel like as a passer, um he's gotten, he's past where Colin is as a passer. I think Colin is an underrated passer, but I think, Garland is a facilitator, and you need that, especially if you want your two guard to get off.
Right. But at the same time, uh, Garland to me is more proven than Colin, because when Garland came in, it was almost as the same roster as, if not worse, than, because you had Kevin Love coming back, figuring things out, because he was going through some things, trying to be the voice or try to be the leader of the team when he was going through, certain situations, contracts and stuff like that. And when Garland came in, it was like everything gravitated around him. Something that was kind of hard for, or something that just didn't click right when Colin was involved, and this injury worries me because it's not like the NFL. Look at OBJ when he was with the Rams, and then his leg, he had the surgery, he had all that, and he still gave out, the leg gave out. Now, when it's concerning basketball, these guys are, they got to go run back and forth, they got to move side to side, they got to jump and coming down with force and stuff like that. Do you not see that as an issue throughout the season?
What you described, I didn't see it the way you saw it. So you stated, um, when Garland got his, it seemed like the team gravitated more to him. And I think that sounds like you're condemning Colin for something that's not in his control. It is not Colin's fault that during the year before last, um, that all the trades were going on. You know, we got Jaron Allen on the humbug of sneaking into an already established trade, just being the right piece. We had Andre Drummond last year. That year too. All right. Colin's been consistent and getting better even through the turmoil. You judge a guy off his character and his ability to perform under pressure and duress situations. And Colin has not only played but has gotten better. We're talking about, listen, bro. Everybody in the league know you can't guard Colin 1-on-1 or 2-on-1. The issue was there was nobody to finish for Colin. He didn't have all these pieces together. You know what I'm saying? All these guys weren't there. There was no Mobley. You know what I'm saying? Okoro was on his first year. And he was like, wait, he had like a little nagging injury or something, hamstring or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Dean Wade and Lamar Stevens were still raw. You know what I'm saying? So, I cannot condemn Colin for something he doesn't control, which is roster management and acquisition. His job is to come play. And I can argue that Colin was the only reason people watched the Cavs for at least the prior two seasons before this one. He was the only reason. You know what I'm saying? He made them respectable on his own. So I'm not going to not consider that when it comes time to pay you. Also, I'm going to consider how the team acts. Nobody on this team, no player, has excluded Saxton in no way, in no speech, in no interaction. When they say the Cavs go meet up, Sexton is included, even though he didn't play all year. When they go practice and do that, Sexton is there. He is the unspoken leader of that team. Do you know how bad of a ripple effect it is going to be on the Cavaliers if they move Sexton? I don't think a lot of people understand that. He is the leader. He is the guy. Colin had the welcoming attitude when Garland got drafted, when Okoro got drafted, when these other guys was bringing in. Colin was going to the summer leagues meeting with these guys. Colin was calling these guys, initiating contact. You gotta pay that man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of shit you want leading your roster. That's the type of shit you want in your locker room. You know what I'm saying? Now, can Colin be the face of an organization? I think now that's a different question than does he deserve to get paid? You know what I'm saying? Does he deserve to get paid like a face of an organization? No. Because I don't see Colin as that guy. I see Colin as a number 2 option. He could be your number 1, but he's far more effective as a number 2. So this is where I'm in a lot of agreement with him starting at the 2 with Colin at the 1. It's just all about the 3 position to me. And this is where the 14th pick becomes a valuable pick. This is where we can start talking about a Karis LeVert. Because, in my opinion, Lauri Markkanen does a good job at that 3 position for his skill set. But I don't think that's something they want to hang their hat on. I like Lauri Markkanen coming in as a rotational big between Allen and Mobley and whoever played the 3. You know what I'm saying? I think him coming off the bench gives him the freedom to just play free and score the ball, shoot the ball, and really grow. You know what I'm saying? I think his defense gonna grow because when you play around guys who play good defense and guys who get after it, that it rubs off on you. You ain't gonna help but to play hard because y'all play like this every day. So I just think he's going to get better as a defender and even as a rebounder. You know what I'm saying? Especially on the defensive rebound. I think he going to get better. But I like him as a rotational big. I want Kevin Love gone. Love, you did exactly what I needed you to do this year, bro. You came in, you balled in, you got your $30 million, and you was an impactful threat off my bench in limited minutes. You clearly increased your trade value. So if I wanted to package you up with one of my young guys to get a star, because of how you played, I don't have to add so many draft picks to get that star if that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? If I just want to trade him just for a piece for piece, and maybe bring back something that I could think could start at that 3. And I don't want to tail off. So when I'm getting to on the 14th pick, but I've been screaming Kevin Love for Andrew Wiggins for like 2 seasons now. Nobody was hearing me. People was Von bugging. I'm sorry, DeeTrynt bugging. DeeTrynt don't know what he's talking about. And now look at the reports of lately. You could see Andrew, because just imagine Andrew Wiggins with his game playing the 3 with Colin Sexton, Allen, and Mobley. That'd be crazy. But that's I'm just that's side note shit. But I do want to see Love move. Karis LeVert is a very interesting piece because let's say you do want to bring Colin off the bench because you like what Okoro gives you a defensively and transitionally at the 2 with his height, and his defensive complement to Garland's offense. You know what I'm saying, in the backcourt. So now you say, if they do that, I don't think you can start marketing. I don't think you can start marketing. I think this where Karis LeVert, you could put him at the 3. Now the issue is though, can Karis LeVert play good enough defense as a starter against a Brandon Ingram, a LeBron, a Kawhi, you know what I'm saying, a DeRozan, and still be impactful on the offensive end too? This is where it gets iffy. This is where I like the 14th pick. You know what I'm saying? Back to this small forward position before I keep going on with Karis. Because if they say, okay, we want to start Garland and Saxton, when this name first came up, bro, I just thought Cleveland fans was just clinging to a name because it was a name. But I owe a lot of everybody an apology for thinking that. When I watched this man tape and actually got to see who he was, I will argue him or Tari Eason is the best fits to that three. And that's the Kansas guy, Ocha Ajabi. I don't know if I'm messing his name up. If I am, somebody correct me, please. But what he brings to the table, even as they're like, oh, he 22. Well, the Cavs a playoff team right now. So I think if we was gonna ever draft a 22-year-old who could come in and play, I think this would be nice right now, being that your core is 22 years old, just about 22 to 24, 25 years old. I think he would fit in just great versus bringing in, an 18, 19-year-old. On top of that, this guy's what is he, 6'5" to 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan. He's a marksman from three, plus he can play defense 1 through 5. He's giving you everything you wanted Lauri Markkanen to be. So if the Cavs can get Ochai at 14, if he's still on the board, I would definitely argue they should run to the podium. That shouldn't even be a second thought. His game perfectly fits exactly what the Cavs want to do right now. Which leads me to my Karis LeVert thing. All right. Because I feel like, as you said, Rocco, Karis LeVert, he could have did more. He could have took over more. But I understand why Karis LeVert didn't took over more, and it made me respect him a little more as a player, because he came in and said, even though this team is young, it's a culture here. It's a certain way to play here. These guys do it a certain way. I'm not gonna be disrespectful or impolite by coming in here and just doing whatever I want to do. I want to make sure I fit in with what the guys are doing. So I don't, then he had the little injury thing, and I can't not Karras for being, having whatever injury problems he had. When I didn't have Rubio, which had me get Karras in the first place. I didn't have Sexton. I didn't have Mobley for a while. I didn't have Allen for a while. I didn't have Marketing for a while. I didn't have Core. Like, everybody missed something due to some type of injury. So I can't magnify one body's injury over anybody else's when everybody had them. You know what I'm saying? But I like Karras off the bench as the main ball handler, but he still need a facilitator with him. Now, I like Karras and Markkanen as a bench duo, period. All right? I just don't see how, if you got Karis LeVert and Lauri Markkanen as your main two bench guys coming in, I just don't see how a lot of teams can really keep up with that when they on their game. You know what I'm saying? You got a guy who can do it from the outside in and a guy who can do it from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? And they both athletic. So I really like that. It's about what you got around them. But you could have. I mean, you got Lamar Stevens. You know what I'm saying? You would have a Coro. You would have Dean Wade. You know what I'm saying? Now, Dean Wade and Lamar Stevens, I don't think they're top end rotational players yet, but I do feel like 15 minutes a game they should definitely be getting, because they fit situationally against so many different teams. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the team we got. I ain't mentioned Chetty Osman, y'all. I ain't mentioned him on purpose. Like, I ain't really mentioning Kevin Love. These guys, to me, are off the team. If the Cavs come back with these guys, you know what I'm saying, next season, I address it then. But in my mind right now, these two guys are trade bait. You know what I'm saying? These two guys are up out of here. Chetty been here a long time. You know what I'm saying? We've watched him grow. He was steered through the championship run. But Chetty, you really just taking up minutes so I can see what my other guys can do. I want to see what a Dylan Willer can do with more minutes and more time. You know what I'm saying? I really want to see that, and I can't see that with you there. You know what I'm saying? I want to see if Moses Brown can grow into something because he's a 7-footer who can run the 4 block. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know what he like on the offensive end except for he can play above the rim a little bit, get some pat backs on the boards and shit. But he 22, 23, been in the league like 3-4 years, 2-3 years, 3-4 years. He can grow with this team, and the Cavs ain't just building to win right now. This is for now and later. They want to be winning, for the next half decade, if not decade, like the rest of these teams been doing. And they literally draft all their pieces, you know what I'm saying? But Chetty gone, Love gone. But Karis LeVert, you know what I'm saying, as, the main guy off the bench, with marketing as his running mate and building around that, I think is a lot more feasible. Well, actually, it would be LeVert, Okoro, and marketing. If I say this correctly, it would be LeVert, Okoro, and marketing. And I like Okoro. I think Okoro. Let me just side note on Okoro right quick, okay? I think Okoro is gonna blossom. Now,
One of my
I
favorite players right there.
Isaac Okoro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think Isaac Okoro. I really think his offensive game gonna blossom because I feel like you know being playing around a Garland and a Sexton and the way that they move, ain't no way your offensive game don't get better. But I think he already got a nice offensive skill set anyway. It's just that when you do something so well, people be like, man, just make sure you do that at least. You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, bro, Coral 20. You know what I'm saying? He going to turn 21 in the middle of the season. You know what I'm saying? So a guy like that has a lot of room to grow, and he already has, an impactful trait, you know what I'm saying, that could be used and really help to make things really blossom. You feel what I'm saying? So, Levert, Okoro, and marketing as a bench three, bro, is dangerous. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You could put these guys as the 2, 3, and 4 off the bench. The 1, 3, and 4, the 1, 2, and 3. Like you could do so many. The 5, 4, and 3. Like you could do so many things with them three. Then you add, a Dean Wade and Lamar Stevens in rotation, bro. That's fire. Like that's heavy. You know what I'm saying? Especially for teams with all these long wings and you got to play mismatch and, people get in foul trouble and, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's fire. So, this leads me to, now, and before I say this, I should probably add some context. Coming into the Cavs offseason, I've said it's 3, 4, 5. All right, major things they need to do. But as far as the roster and additions, it's 3 additions that I needed to see. And that was a starting 3 that was lengthy, 3 and D and athletic at least. You know what I'm saying? But if he could facilitate from that position and still be a 3 and D guy, that's a plus. I said they needed a backup point guard that's tall, a lanky guy, a guy that's like, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", that could play D and can facilitate off the dribble, can create off the dribble. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he can hit open shots, I ain't really tripping. But long as he can play defense, you know what I'm saying, run that break, facilitate, you know what I'm saying, at least finish at the rim, that's cool. And we needed a big man who can protect the rim and rebound. All right? Whether he could run the floor or not really well, I ain't really tripping. But can you rebound at a high level on both ends of the floor, especially on the defensive end? And can you protect the rim at a high level on the defensive end of the floor? Because with the growth of this core, we all going to want to see how Allen's game grows as an offensive player. We're going to see how Mobley game grows as an offensive player. We're going to want to see how a Coral game grows as an offensive player. And if you're asking these guys to play 90% of the impactful defense, it's going to be very hard to get those guys to see how they're going to do on the offensive end. But if you get guys that can come in and at least fill in that role for those guys, whether they need a break, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's just about mismatches and, the guy that's playing at the 4, if I can move Allen down to the 4, he going to kill him more. If I could bring in a guy that can just at least do the base of what Allen does, which is rebound and protect the rim. You know what I'm saying? Now I can use Mobley maybe a few different ways. Maybe it may be a lineup that Mobley showing me something. I may want to use him at the 3 versus using marketing at the 3 on the lineup. You feel me? Like, it's just so many different ways that it'll allow you to play with your team. You feel me? I just think that's something they need. Because even though it seems like basketball going back to tradition, it's still going to be kind of positionless basketball. Guys going to play to their strengths, to their talent. You know what I'm saying? The position ain't going to necessarily be, the final say so. It's going to be about how impactful you can be for what you got. So those who I seen come in, welcome to the cast. Welcome to the cast, DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk on InDaStreetzSportz. You know what I'm saying? We usually streaming on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't in the spaces with us right now while we on the Twitter, definitely follow us on one of them. And you actually catch us on Spotify, Anchor as well. But just finishing up on my Cavs point, y'all. I like the team we have, and I like the position we in. Um, I'm really hoping that they bring Colin back, and Colin plays, and give him at least 100 mil. I'm hoping at that 14th pick that they draft a 3 that could come in and start. You know what I'm saying? Because of his skill set. I'm hoping, whether it be through free agency or be via trade or be the second round picks, that we can acquire, some type of lengthy guard like I was talking about, and some big man. I like Moses. I like Moses Brown. I like Dean Wade, and I like Lamar Stevens. I like Brandon Goodwin too. I think he came in and played really good for us too. But at the same token, though, those guys, are your third level guys. Those are guys that you can come out your bag with, that they ain't really starters this year yet. But having those guys available for you, especially when they get in the crunch time and you really need to, spell certain guys, I think they fit very well and they can still grow in this system. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm about to end this off, y'all. I gotta go do some things. You feel me? I'll spark one back up later on. We can get to some Browns talk and stuff like that. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for coming in to speak. You know what I'm saying? Show us some love. I'm DeeTrynt, this Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just get up with y'all in a second, y'all.